Ringgit. It's a Tuesday discussing matters business and how to basically enlarge your wallet, if you may. As much as it is one more day to the end of January, but hey, January has been long and lazima utafute pesa out here. And as always, it's a Tuesday, so we're doing business 101 here. Tutakuwa na ubao, and you just have the right minds for this conversation and even practically looking at the numbers here. First off, Dr. David, is it Kabata or Kavata? Kabata. But it depends on
where you come from.
Oh, okay.
When you come from Ukambani, you have V, which is a lady. When you come from our area, Central, you have a B. Yes.
An entrepreneur coach, karibu sana.
Thank you.
Among other hats that you definitely wear.
Yes, yes.
And Marube Ogeka, business consultant.
Yes.
Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
Are you guys ready by the way to sijui kama handwriting yenu iko sawa?
We are ready for this.
Okay. Hii handwriting iko hapa ni my producer Lydia. I'll be showing you mine later on. But anyway, let's kickstart this. I'll start with you, Dr. When you think about business idea, what should be coming in your mind instantly? Nikifikiria nafaa nianzishe biashara. What's the first thing that should be coming in your mind?
Thank you, Stanley. I think one of the questions that you need to ask, we actually need to answer is what is an idea and what is a business idea? Because you can have a very romantic idea, but it does not have a business opportunity. And therefore it is important for us to be able to know that an idea is just a thought in the mind. But a business idea is a solution to a problem that you have seen. So when you see a problem or when you see people behaving in a given way, what comes into your mind and what solution do you offer to this problem? And I think that is where we need to start. We also need to understand that when you have a business idea, there are 4 things, that you need to actually think about. The first one is the idea itself.
Yes.
Then the second one is to ask yourself a simple question. Now I have an idea. What problem will I be solving to people with this idea? Because you see, ideas are there to solve people's problem. And I think that is where we go wrong. Then you ask yourself a simple question. Now, because I have a problem to these people, which is this problem that these people can pay for? Wanaweza toa pesa. Because you can have a good idea for their problem, but they are not willing, willing to actually give money for that problem. Then you ask yourself, now because I have identified what people can pay for in this business idea, what do I need for me to implement this idea? Because you don't need anything. The problem with Kenyans is that when they have ideas, they think big, complicated things. But you need very small things. I'll give you an example. You are a journalist. You want to start a small media house. You start with your phone. You don't need to buy very expensive cameras. You go look for your phone. You look for, what do you call it? The loud light that is really... The ring light that are very cheap. So those are small things that you need to bring together. And that is what we call lean startup. Starting with what you need, not what you want. Yes.
Thank you for forming that basis that I'm seeing. You're smiling, probably now adding to what he's talking about. But then he mentioned, he already talking about how even as a journalist, starting small, so that can also be a business. The social media. Can you say the perfect businesses that you can start in Kenya? Kuna zile businesses, by the way, these ones, nikianzisha, there's no doubt I'll make it.
Yes, thank you for that background, Daktari. And business, as we say, is about solving an existing need or an existing problem. And so the value you bring into the market is why people are willing to pay you, because you are removing some pain that they are going through. But even as we go through that, we have to remember that running a business, it's run by you as a business person or an entrepreneur, which is another area where we say that as an entrepreneur, it's a lifestyle. As you wish or desire to become a business person or an entrepreneur, you also need to be prepared to live this life, which unfortunately, much as we may wish to, is not something you switch on at 8 o'clock and at 5 you are no longer an entrepreneur. Yeah. It's 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 in a year. So you need to also, as you wish to plunge into enterprise, prepare yourself for all the eventuality of running a business, such that when you are looking at this idea, you are also preparing yourself to live that life and to execute that business in the marketplace. So when it comes to running businesses, it's, for example, in Kenya, it's all about scanning the environment, where you live, where you stay, or as you travel maybe from Mombasa to upcountry to Nairobi, we are all faced with different gaps in the market, different problems that just require a little tweak here, a little tweak there, a little solution here and there, and the market will be ready to offer you value for what you bring to the table.
Okay, now that both of you have formed the basis of this conversation, now we'll start with the board here.
Yeah.
And Rusudi, pick up the phone and rub this handwriting ya Lydia, producer hapa. So now, both of you have obviously heard of mtu ameanzisha biashara ya mayai.
Yes.
Na anasema hii biashara nilianza na mayai moja ama kuku moja. And right now they have like a huge nini. First of all, is that possible? And both of you, I'll start with you. Is that mtu akikwambie nilianza na hii moja tu, nilianza kuuza hii pen moja. Say they have a whole place and a workshop of pens.
Yes, the Bible for us, the Christians, says, do not despise the day of your humble beginning. It's true. You could have started with one pen or one box or one carton, and it's possible with time, with opportunity, with resilience, and most importantly, persistence, to be able to grow that trade from a simple, one stall to a chain. And it all depends with many factors that we are going to share in due course.
Right.
Yeah.
Daktari, unaweza jibu ukisimama because between the two of us, you're the lecturer. I'm curious how your handwriting looks like. So now that he says as one's in a pen, so this pen costs about, how much? Depending, let's say 20 bob? Let's say 20 bob. How can you turn this into a whole profitable business?
You know, Stanley, there's something that he has talked about, a very important word that is called value. Value in another name is benefit. People don't buy products. People buy value or benefits. That is why you don't have this mesa in your house, because it is valueless in your house. You don't have such a chair in your house. It is valueless in your house. That is why you have never bought it. But it has value here or benefit here. Now the question that you're asking is, you have that pen. You see what you need to do is to identify those people who are looking for that value. And I keep telling people, when somebody pays you 10 shillings, it means that you have added value in their life. You have a benefit that you are giving them. Because how many people gave you money to Stanley in the morning today?
In the morning?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there anybody who gave you money? Why didn't they give you money? Because there's no value that you have added in their life.
Nitumie pesa by the way.
Yes.
M-Pesa number GOtv mnieke hapo.
So for people to give you money, even a single shilling, it's because you have a value or benefit that you are giving to them. Therefore, that person comes and tells you that I started with one bag of rice. I know what he needed to do with this. I hope my handwriting is good. I know what this guy needed to do with this one bag of rice is to identify those people who can benefit from it. And then when you get one person, you ask yourself a simple question. How can I be able to get similar people who want this value or benefit that I'm looking for? And I think I come back to what he was saying. Not everybody is going to buy your products. There is that group of people, and that is what we call target market, that are going to buy that value because they are in need of that value or benefit. So the most important thing in any business is value. And that is why I said, mambo ni manne, although kwangu ni matatu. First, create value.
Create value, okay.
Create value for the customer. You first of all create value for the customer. After you've created that value that I've talked about, deliver the value to the customer. Value delivery. Now, you see, Stanley,
yes.
This is a value delivery system for you, the business cafe. Because anybody who wants the value from what you are talking about or the benefit of what you are talking about, where do they go? The business cafe. So that is a value delivery system.
So, finish up, then we get into now the calculator of turning this into very many other...
Then you ask yourself, how do I capture the value? Money. You know, I keep hearing people talk about passion, but I'll tell you the truth. Passion without making money, it can take you nowhere. Even coming here for passion, you have to make money. So for that pen, you have to identify the people who are looking for the pen. And then after identifying the people who are looking for the pen, then you try to multiply those people. Look for the customer who is looking for that value. That is what I'm saying. Then from there, you can think bigger. You see, what happens with those guys is that all what you need to do, and I actually have learned this with students, is to make the mind realize that you can actually make money with something. From there, you start expounding your mind on how you can be able to create a bigger platform from what you are making. So that is how it starts actually. Even this business that we have here, it was somebody's idea.
Oh, yes.
But how did that person do? He started. And that is the biggest problem that we have in Kenya. We talk a lot, but we don't start. So when you identify people who can be able to actually add value or have take the value, then you start. After starting, then you go expanding slowly. Not the way people think that it is a one day off. It is something that takes a long time.
So for this pen, it's about, let's say, 20 shillings, and now you have the passion and all that. Also the right audience. Ogega?
Yes.
Unaweza karibia sasa?
Yes.
Tupigie hesabu tuone
how we move from 20 shillings. Huh?
Yes.
So now, your idea is to sell this pen. The selling price is 20 shillings. And you do your first sell. For argument's sake, let's assume this 20 shillings is your profit. Maybe you bought it at 10 shillings, you're selling at 30. So with one customer, you've made a profit of 20 shillings. That's customer 001. Now, what you want to do is to grow the business or the trade. So this remains constant. The selling price and your cost. What you want to increase is your market share. The people you are serving, the people who are deriving value from you. So business is all about, the big word here is leverage. How do you tap into more customers who are going to be able to grow your trade? So there are a few areas where you can tap into this leverage.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have, for example, capital. If you have capital, you can market and grow your trade. But for argument's sake, we are starting with 1 at 20, so we may not have capital.
Yes.
So we have something like people or collaboration. This is where, using your word of mouth, you tell me you are selling pens. You've started selling pens, and then you sell to me. Then I refer you another customer. Then you have 2. By so doing, you've doubled your income. You tell another person, soon enough, you're going to be at 10.
So let's say now you have the 10. So we had sold the first one.
Yes.
So the first person, we bought it at, let's say, 10 shillings.
10 shillings.
And then we sold it at 30.
You got a profit of 20. Now, if you are going to buy again, now you can afford. Remember, you got 30 shillings. So you can now afford to buy 3 pens. So if you go and sell all of them, you're going to get 90 shillings. 3 times 30.
Times 30.
Okay.
I think there's a maneno ya technology nayo pia. Let's go with, I think that one. Hopefully, oh, good.
Yes. So it goes like that. 90, now you are able to buy 9. So in essence, you are growing organically through word of mouth. We also have something like code or what you would call software, depending on which business you are running. You can have code or software where you are able to reach more people through technology, like the current online businesses and the online sellers who are selling things online using WhatsApp, using Facebook. So you are able to reach a wider market at a margin of the cost. So that's how you are able to grow from this original 20 and go to even the area of thousands by growth through taking advantage of leverage.
And technically, so that means, because you mentioned online selling.
Yes.
So does this really mean now when you talk about online selling, it boosts you? For example, even the whole capital, even the leverage that you have, Dr. When you're going to go for online selling, that means you'll actually reach having a profit of, let's say, thousands faster than ukifanya ile mouth to mouth.
You see, there's something that I've called a value delivery system. That is what now he is talking about. This pen, the value from this pen must get to as many people as possible. So you have to develop either a physical or an online value delivery system. So that online thing is a value delivery system that you have looked for that can be able to get as many people as possible.
Right.
And you have the social media, you have the website and all these other things. So that is actually what he is talking about.
Right.
Yes.
Now that we reached the thousands, ukikaribia hapo pia, remember you can always call in live 0795 054 045 864. 0795 045 864. Talk to us. Pia pale Facebook to make the question of the day. What do you think is the secret of the perfect side hustle? You can always, when you call in live, tell us your name, mute your TV, and tell us what is your opinion on this particular conversation, brainstorming the business ideas zenye unaweza kuwa nazo. Na pia hii math yenye tunafanya hapa, kwako, is the mathing really? All right, so tuko na 1,000 hapa. Let's talk about business ideas that you can start ukiwa na 1,000 bob peke yake. I think you can wrap this off now. Ndio sasa tuanze hesabu. Hesabu ndio imeanza. My maths teacher used to say, anaandika algebra kidogo, anasema bado sijaanza hesabu. Ndio sasa tumeanza. Business ideas that you can now start. Let's say we sold this at 30 bob and then we reached at 1,000 bob. But then I said, kuuza pen ni ngumu sasa. Nimechoka kuuza pens. Watoto wameenda shule, watu wana pesa, ni kama kila mtu ako na pen siku hizi. Na ni kama pen, by the way, pen ukitumia haishi sana. So I'm looking for a business idea that yes,
turnarounds.
Yes. We will have the whole turnarounds. Leo, I'll have customers each and every single day. But I only just have that 1,000 bob that I had. Walk us through.
So even before I go to there, I think after looking at what he has done, there's one thing, there's one constant thing that we should learn from there.
Okay.
The person who grows a business is a customer, it is not you.
Ah.
So your work is to start. Then the customer will actually grow the business, because you see, he has actually grown that from 20 shillings to 1,000 by looking for customers. The customers are the ones. Now the question is, you have 1,000 shillings. You want to make as quickly money as possible. And I think that is where we go wrong first. But if you want to make as quickly money as fast as you can, the question that you need to ask yourself is, what is this thing that people are consuming a lot? Take an example of milk. I always see these guys who deliver milk to some of these shops. How much money do they start with? Delivering 1 crate or 2 crates of milk. I think it's about 1,000 shillings.
Ah.
But you see, they looked for something that people are consuming in masses. I keep asking people, why is it that your politicians do not start these big businesses that we people like talking about? Car businesses, land businesses.
Right. Actually, I'll have to cut you short there. Richard from Kiambu says that... Richard, habari asubuhi from Kiambu. Tuambie maoni yako ni yepi concerning this particular conversation.
Good morning once again.
Good morning, endelea.
Yes, I think what I wanted to ask.
Continue, ask.
Yes, I wanted to ask to our presenters.
Okay.
For the leverage part of it, what are the risk factors if you rely on the leverage as far as now the leverage part of it, the risk factors? What are they, and how do you do mitigating of those risk factors?
Okay, interesting question there from Richard Kiambu. Any other question, Richard?
No, but the topic is wow.
Thank you very much, Richard. Salimia watu wa Kiambu. Mwambie tumewasalimia sana. Thank you, Richard. Even as you continue, we'll be shelving some of these questions later on. Niandike risk factors from Richard. We'll be discussing them later on. So back to the 1,000.
So I was saying, if you look at most of these big guys in business, they don't sell the complicated products that we think about. They're selling milk, a fast-moving commodity that has
the day-to-day commodities that we use.
The day-to-day commodities that we use, because the good thing about those commodities is that they give you what we call cash flow. You always have money. So even this guy with 1,000 shillings, if he wants to start actually making money or having cash flow, he has to ask himself, what is this thing that people are consuming in masses and I can actually afford with this 1,000 shillings? I've given an example of milk. You can start delivering milk to some of these kiosks and try to look at what the kind of the milk that the customers are looking for, actually, not every milk. Look at these guys who do mandazis, who also supply mandazis. I think 1,000 shillings is enough for them to actually start that. But the question is, are those things fast consumable commodities? So for 1,000 shillings, think about fast consumable commodity, something that has a big traction from the customers, and the customers are consuming as quickly as possible. And from there, it is very easy for you to be able to move to the 1,000 that he is talking about.
So in numbers now, you can pick the pen. There it is. So in numbers now,
yes.
You have the 1,000 bob there.
Yes.
How do you turn around this, 1,000 bob, considering the fact that you have to buy, produce?
Yes, yes.
If it's the milk, ama ni mandazi, lazima utafute unga ya mandazi.
Yes, yes.
Utafute, look for sugar, oil, all those factors. So we can minus. We can also list what you'd need. For example, hypothetically, nimechoka kuuza, so I want to now dive into either mandazi or chapati. So you can list now what you will buy and also how much profit you can get now after.
Now, let me just talk about the chapati. How much is the flour, the chapati flour? We'll give it 300 shillings.
300, okay.
Yes. Then you need cooking oil. Remember we said you start lean startup. So actually 300 is not lean. So
itabidi utafute ile ndogo.
No, the one that is cheaper, the brand that is cheaper in the market, because ni chapati unataka, hakuna kitu kingine unataka kuuza.
Yes.
So you can go and look for the 181. Then you need cooking oil. And this is what I was talking about. What do you need for you to start?
Yes.
You need cooking oil. So which brand can be able to do a good job for you? The lean startup, the cheapest one that can be able to do a good job for you. Maybe you can buy a big, in big quantity so that you actually can go for a long time, for a long duration of time. So we can say maybe 500 you can put there. Now, that is 680.
Okay.
What else do you need for you to start a business of cooking chapati? Moto, sidio?
Yes.
You need fire.
Also, I think sugar should be there.
You need sugar.
Yes.
So you can also have sugar. Maybe you can start with 1 kg. It's about 180 shillings today. Motor, I think this is where the big challenge is. What kind of the motor are you going to be using? Which is the cheapest for you? Because that is what we are talking about. Which is the cheapest for you? I usually see them using even makaa, sidio?
Yes.
Why? Because you are starting. You actually don't start big. You start with what you have or what you need. So maybe you can also use that one at 300 shillings. Now, So
300 Yamaka for say 1 week.
Yeah, you can even give it 3 days. You can even give it 3 days. So if our money is, you have 600, you have 980, you can see the amount is coming to that range. In fact, the biggest problem in this business is not all this. Is where you are going to target this business. the customers who are going to buy the chapati. That is the biggest challenge, because you have to look for a place where people are willing and we're able to buy these chapatis, or they are willing to buy these chapatis. And I keep telling people that actually that is the biggest challenge that we usually have. Where do I put my value delivery system? You see, look at hawkers. Why are they always at the bus terminus? Because that is where you are going to go when you are going home. So they are actually targeting with your carrots there. And those carrots are not actually less than 1,000 shillings. Targeting you with the carrots there at the bus station, because they know utatoka kazi 6. Uko na time ya kwenda Marikiti. So they get these carrots. Yes, they get these carrots at how much? Maybe even 300 shillings. Wanakuja divide za mia. Then wanakuja za mia. Maybe portion 4 ama portion 5 wanaziweka hapo kwa bus station. Saa wewe ukifika hapo, what happens? You remember that kwako nyumbani hakuna nini? Hakuna carrots. You take them, but how much money have they used to start these businesses? So it is actually, you can actually start a business with 1,000 shillings, but it depends with what you are bringing to people and who are these people.
So how do you now, I think tumepata 980?
960.
960.
Yes.
So how do you now turn around this? All factors considered, pale unauzia, there's a huge population. Sijui unga ya 180 na zatoa chapati ngapi?
That's about 32 actually.
Ngapi?
32.
32?
Yes.
Nikaa daktari
unajua mimi ni mtu wa chini. Mimi ni hustler. So I know. About 32 actually. Tunatukona kabisa. That is what they do.
So for example, 32 chapatis times 20. So
that is 940. But you see, there are things that you have actually bought. There are things that you have actually bought that you are not going to buy tomorrow. So you can actually plow this money to buy maybe a stock of 3 ungas, because kama hii moto uko nayo, mafuta uko nayo, hizi ulinunua ushanunua za siku 3 ama wiki moja. So you can actually plow back. The problem with us is that hii pesa ni kukula tu na kulaga. Na most of our businesses are businesses that we do so that we can be able to survive. So when you get these 940, instead of plowing back to this business so that you can be able to grow it, what happens is that we actually eat all this money, or we use it for our day-to-day operations. Another challenge that we usually have is that we do not listen to these customers. So when these customers come to buy chapati, listen to them, because one of them will come and say, na sasa kwa sababu unauza chapati, mbona usiuze madodo? What is that guy telling you? It's also another opportunity that you can be able to make money for. So when 2 or 3 customers ask you about madodo when you're selling chapati, what do you do with the 940? You try to plow some little money in that and see whether that is another product that you can introduce in your business. And that is how business grows. And
speaking of, even listening to your customers, so Gega, how, for example, you're new, or rather, I mean, you've been living in, this particular place for, let's say, a period of even 3 years. So you understand, how this place is really. What kind of factors should you be looking for in the environment of this place? So how do you have to go, to businesses? Because let's say the business you want to start, kuna mwingine pia kama ni chapo, kuna mwingine pia ashaanzisha. So do you go out to ask people, wewe chapo zako ungependa zipikwe aje? Will that benefit you in your business?
Absolutely.
Tukiendelea na hii hesabu.
What you are actually talking about now is market intelligence, which you are trying to gather way before you initiate your business or execute your business idea. The beauty about starting the business in your locality, number one, is that you understand the environment. You understand the dynamics and the demographics of the people around there. Ni watu wa chini, ni wa kadri, ni watu wa juu. You also have what you call the current market activity that you are seeing. There is a butchery here, another butchery there, and another butchery there, and 4 M-Pesas, or there are people wanapika chapati hapa na huko.
Is that choice, by the way, even to continue, because I mean you'd find M-Pesa kama 5 zimefuatana, so unajiuliza huyu akifungua M-Pesa si alijua kutakuwa na competition from the other 4. Is that wise?
Yes. Now, why that is important is because you want to first observe and understand kuna M-Pesa 4, M-Pesa 5. Are they equally busy? Ama kuna mmoja tu ndiye akona float, the others every time ukienda sina float. So you before becoming the 5th M-Pesa, first assess, is there a need for a 5th one? Is there a need for a 5th entry? Is there a gap yenye hawaja satisfy? That way you reduce the chances of disappointment and failure. Also, when you are looking at the current market, you want to also see what are they missing. You are looking at what is there first, but you also want to see what they are missing. What Daktari said, wote wanauza chapati, but there is nothing additional. Kuna watu wanaamka very early in the morning and they would like chapati madondo very quickly so that they go to mjengo or to industrial area. So there is something missing hapa. Nikileta tu an extra beans or accompaniment, I can actually sweep the market. So hiyo ni kuangalia what is the market missing that I can fulfill and actually draw more people to me.
Right. So kwa hii hesabu daktari tukapata out of hiyo unga ya 180 tuzatoa chapo 32. Chapo 32.
Asini tunatoa ukitaka.
So okay, chapo 32 tukapata 940 out of ile profit. Hypothetically chapo zote zilienda yes. Tukauza 20 each, so 940. Hiyo ni today Tuesday, by the end of the day, let's say by 8 p.m. umefunga kazi, umepata 940 yako clean. So how do you now turn around this money and kesho make sure useme leo ni 940, kesho naweza pata more?
Okay. Actually, this is a hypothetical example, but I have someone I was advising who does a similar business.
Okay.
Na alikuwa ananiambia this low end of the market, the bottom of the pyramid, these are attainable. This is a reality. Number one, because there is high population density. Number two, because when they open almost 18 to 20 hours. Right from saa 10 asubuhi all the way to midnight. So the way to do this is to ensure that you are consistent. Wale you served today, tomorrow they come and get the same experience without disappointment. That is what is going to help you to first attain retention. Your first nucleus of customers, you need to retain them. So that sio kila siku unatafuta a new customer. It will be very expensive and not sustainable. So if you can manage to remain consistent, the same experience kama ya jana, the same experience, as they give you feedback, unaongezea.
Before tuendelee, kuna IBC kwa hapo nyuma, wanasema to fact check hizi numbers. Wananiambia ni 640, so but to pick sababu tena. So okay.
Yeah, 32 times 2.
This was 500. So 180 plus 500. Yes, this is 500.
So 680.
So 680 plus 300.
900.
900 plus 180.
1080.
1080.
Yeah. So 10.
So actually now that raises a whole because tulianza na 1000.
1000.
So will that mean mtu atabidi akope 80 bob?
We can just
also hiyo inabidi ubudget pia.
Budget sasa.
Lazima ifike
you have to play within your
budget
constraint. Because the moment you start offshooting your budget, inamaanisha you are likely to hit a loss. You are likely not to be sustainable in the long run.
Right. Okay, so we were trying to figure out how, for example, you change these numbers and tukakuwa na, okay, so we used the 32, tukapata
640.
640, okay.
Yeah.
So 640 So now how do you actually now turn around that amount ndio kesho you have more than 640?
So what Daktari was saying here is that tomorrow, this is day one. You started at 1,000.
As
your initial capital.
Yes.
CO. So after day one, you have not 1,000, but 1640. Because the 640 is now your profit. So it means day two, you can actually do more than 32 chapatis. That is what you want to target. That how can you, how can you, this is high, this is almost 64% return in a day. Tell me what gives you 64% in a day, other than the bottom of the pyramid. That is the beauty of starting small. And with all the lessons that you get, you replicate 1640 on day two. You are likely to finish at maybe 2,400. So the thing you want to manage is being consistent. And plowing back, what Daktari said, plowing back your profits back into the business. That's the only thing that will make you grow. As your capital grows and as you use the leverage and word of mouth and the experience to draw more customers, this is what will move you from 2,400 to 10,000 and to even higher figures, or to branch number 2. Because now, watu wamekuwa wengi, they are no longer fit. So you can take your first chef wa hapa, ufungue next door, and you replicate the same thing.
All right, so now because we have about 1640 day one, 24, so that means by the end of that 1 week, to make karibia 5K,
yes,
plus minus expenses up and pale nini. So I want us to, you can have a seat, Ogega. Tuite daktari sasa, tujaribu, we were talking about 5,000, biashara unaweza anza nayo na 1,000 bob. We talk about chapo, kuza, mandazi, the whole cooking, smokies, and all that. So let's tuvuke wapo mbele. So someone watching us this morning, they're saying, kwa savings zangu nimekuwa na 5,000, and I really want to start a business. So, they're saying, ama hii 5,000 ni kidogo sana. We've established that even the 1,000 can actually turn the whole profits. So what kind of businesses can you start even with the 5,000, and practically speaking, also turn around, ikusaidie?
You see, there's something that he's actually keeping on insisting. Commitment. Commitment is one. You have actually to be committed to that business, and you have to continue doing that. Now, there's something else I also tell them, that the little money that we've talked about, the 5,000, let it not, now when you realize that you still can be able to plow this money back and have something little remaining, can you look for a place where you can save this money? Now, we start introducing the aspect of saving in this, in this aspect. Why? Because these institutions of lending, because there'll come a time when maybe you have grown and you realize that the kind of the products that the people are asking for, you cannot be able to meet.
Yeah.
Now you need to start thinking about where you can be able to put the money. These days we have very many aspects of saving. You can go to mobile. You can and be putting some little money, maybe 500 shillings daily. You actually can be able to survive with that money, or with that money in your business, without that money in your business.
Yeah.
Or you can even open a bank account. The reason as to why I keep telling people this is because some of these institutions that you see here, how do they fund you? They actually don't look at the amount of money you have in your bank or in your mobile phone.
Okay.
They look at the activity in your mobile wallet and also the bank account. How many times are you putting the money in your bank and also withdrawing? In fact, if it was possible for me, I would actually advise them that when these 5,000 or whatever they make as profit come, can it be plowed in a saving account, whether a mobile or something like that, so that you can actually improve the capability of you getting money to improve your business. Remember not to eat the money, but to increase your business, because there is no time you'll have a lot of money for you to be able to grow this business from 5,000 to maybe 100,000. There's a time will come when you'll need money from another place or another institution. And most of these institutions that are going to give you money are these people, the mobile and the business, the mobile banking and also wallets and also banks. How are they going to give you money if you have never...
And even speaking of giving you money, will it be advisable to, and curious from both of you, let's say you started that business with 1,000. Will it be advisable, useme, let me borrow from a bank or whichever means, then faida nitapata, your 1,000 italipa? I'll start with you.
Ideally, what...
you can...
So ideally, funding for business should be ideally for growth. You have done the test run, you have learned the ropes in the business, you have seen what is working, and you've implemented it.
Right.
That's why Daktari is talking about them looking at your activity. You have achieved a certain milestone at a bare minimum, and now whatever you're going to borrow is just for you to scale. So you are at a much lower risk, both from yourself and from the financial. So it's much better to bootstrap yourself, grow from your own savings, from your family, from your friends, those who can believe you at first, before going for credit.
Before you can actually now save.
Yes. In fact, we say that you start with the simplest way of actually getting the money, and that, the one that is not going to give you a lot of hectics, especially when it comes to paying.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that there comes a time when you need to actually improve your business. Nobody is going to give you money if they have not seen your activity, especially when the business, now you want to actually bootstrap your business. That is why I advise them, you have to have somewhere to keep the money. And also, now you have actually grown this business, you have 10,000. Will you be working with 10,000 everywhere in your pocket? You need somewhere, even a mobile wallet, where you can be able to be keeping this money. But you need a wallet that is not also going to eat your money, because in this country we have some wallets that are there to eat your money.
Right.
This is going to help you to grow your business in the future. In case you have more people who are ordering for chapatis, you can have a whole organization telling you that you'll be bringing us madodo na chapati.
Oh, yes.
Hapo kwa nini, kwa kazi yetu.
Yes.
And you need much more than the 5,000 that you needed. Are you going to go to look? If you do not have people who can be able to give you, you can learn to M-Pesa and try to see whether you can be able to get 200 or 300. But they are not going to give you if you have never saved with them. So that is why I'm saying that the activity is very important, and also to look for the activity, the saving place where you are not going to actually lose your money in the premonition of doing what? Saving the money.
All right.
Yes. But that is how you grow your business actually.
All right.
You start small, and you plow back the money, and you listen to the customer. In fact, we have actually stressed on that.
Listen to the
customer.
So which kind of business that, if I was going to be really listening to the customer, well, let's start with 5,000. Now, apart from even cooking chapos and mandazis, which are the kind of business that you'd look at and say, in a 5K, by the way, unaweza kuwa sawa?
There's a business that I started. I'll give you an example of mine. I started a cleaning business. In my area. I think it was in 2016. In fact, I was actually testing the model to see where there's like a book that I had listed. I wanted to test the model whether it is working. So I started. I had a place, a delivery system. So I asked myself, what can I be doing here? I realized that there's no one who was washing carpets in that area. For me to wash carpets, I actually only needed some a brush, water.
So brush, maybe that's about...
that's
I think less than 100 bob there.
Yeah, 100. In fact, 100 na maji ya kuosha, na nikaanza na yagu, na nikaianika pale. So what have I told people? That Now if you want to wash carpets, una nini kuna pahali inaweza oshwa. In fact, I'll tell you the first day mama alikuwa hapo aliniuliza, "Kai, kwani umeanza kuosha carpet?" Akalete yake. So I charged her 600 shillings. Nashika 600 shillings. You see, I have actually made money from just having a place. Na maji na brush. Na in fact nilianza na brush itakudanganya. Then I realized that these people had a problem of this. You know what I did? I bought a machine. Okay, now I went large scale. I bought a machine because Kenyans love machines. Let me tell you the truth. When I bought machines, carpet zikaletwa hapo in droves. Yoshwa na nini na machine si brush kwa sababu wale watu wengine wanaosha na brush. Sio nakumbuka vinya alikuambia zile butchery. Unaangalia ni nini watu hawafanyi nini, hawafanyi. So I actually bought a machine because I wanted to be different from other people. And I can tell you, today, it's a big business.
Wow.
Yes. So these things are, it is possible for you to start, but you have to look at things that we are talking about. One, customer. Who is your customer? Who are you targeting? And are these people willing to actually pay for your service? And is there a problem for them? Like mine, I remember, the reason why I got this idea is bibi yangu hako na kuoshea carpet zilikuwa zinapata uchafu zinawekwa kwa nini? Kwa balcony kawaida.
So it was a problem that needed to be solved.
In my own house. In my own house. So I realized that maybe even other people have the same problem. Even with less than 1,000 shillings, you can actually start a business. But what you need to look at is the problem and the people who are going to be served by that. You want to solve the problem for. So 5,000 is a lot of money. I'll tell you the truth. 5,000 is a lot of money because you can start. Actually, now, I don't even want to be very complicated. The big business. Go for smoky.
Smoky is?
Smoky. 5,000. How much is a packet of smoky? You see, the problem with this business is the location, actually. It is not the capital. It is the location. Who are those people who are going to be eating this smoky? And where is there a lot of traffic for your product? The minute you actually get that right, you are, even with 1,000 shillings, you can be able to do a lot.
So let's say, for example, this, because there's so many people who are ukitembea town, Nairobi CBD, from one left corner to the next, you'll find someone selling smokies.
Yes.
How do you creatively sell? Because I saw someone right now along the streets of Nairobi, the roasting maize, but they had a very creative way of doing it. Si ile ati kuchoma na sijui makaa nini and all that. They had a very nice place, and even working with it remotely, you'd actually be interested. I'd love to test it. How can you creatively sell smokies starting with 5K?
Yes. So actually what you've talked about is what we call CE, customer experience. The smoky will taste the same regardless of who is selling. The preparation model is the same, the source market is the same. But what do you want? You want to draw more numbers, and you want them to refer more people and to keep coming back. So what can you do about customer experience? Number one, it has to be, for example, the level of hygiene. You have, how you dress that white lab coat. Is it clean? Do you appear clean? Number two is in the service that you offer. Courtesy. How do you receive the customer? Would they want to come back again? How do you talk to them? So all this is what the customer, they are all very subjective. They are all very subjective factors that the customer is going to experience while at your premise or at your place. If, for example, you get blessed to travel, this is where now the outlier or big idea comes in. Where you go out, maybe out of town or out of the country, and you see something done in a different fashion, and you like it, and you are able to transfer that technology and experience back home. That one makes you become like a blue ocean, where you are actually competing against yourself. you are not doing what everybody else is doing. We are told about how street lighting came to be in Nairobi. It used to be very dark. There used to be muggings. And then one entrepreneur traveled down to South Africa, saw the concept of street lighting and brought it to Nairobi. And that is how even evening classes came to be, because now there was life beyond 6 p.m., life beyond 7 p.m. So it's about the experience that the customer gets, and also if you are able to bring up an opportunity or an experience that is not prevalent in your current marketplace.
Right.
Yeah.
This whole, Batazara Smoky reminds me of someone on social media, on X, who sells eggs. Right, I'm being told we do have a caller. Habari asubuhi, tell us your name and where you're calling us from, and maoni yako.
Habari yako?
Salama sana. Unaitwa nani, unatupigia kutoka wapi?
Naitwa Patrick, Nathan.
Okay.
Yes, how are you, sir?
Mimi niko salama. Maoni yako ni yepi kuhusu hii conversation yetu ya leo kuhusiana na business ideas zenye mtu anaweza anza?
Sasa nikotaka kujua county government inasumbua sana pia kanjo.
Okay.
Sasa inakuwaje mtu kufunga biashara bila kusumbuliwa sana hivyo? Yes.
Asante sana kwa kutupigia. Ogega, I'm seeing you writing that. Unaweza rudi hapa even as we to flip. Okay, can I just see how this? Yes, good.
Yes.
That will be. Okay. You can have that there. So even as finish up on how you're explaining and also answering his question.
Okay. So we were talking about the experience of how can you set yourself different from the market? How will you appear? How will you bring a whole total difference that is good and positive for the customer, that will draw them coming back to you and speaking well about you in the market? So that is the other part of leverage, because you will essentially be using them as your sales reps.
Yes.
They will be marketing and selling you without you paying them. They come, they pay you, they give you the money, but they still sell you out there.
Right.
So about the question,
yes.
I can go. That was, I didn't get his name, about county government. So one of the factors you need to consider when setting up a business is legal and regulatory affairs, or the regulations that affect your area of business. For example, if you are doing food, all the permits that you need to get. So there can be no running away from the bare minimum, because what this does, it gives you the minimum operating standards. In fact, these operating standards actually set you apart. They are a competitive advantage when you have them. So if you can, by all means, obtain both the legal and the regulatory compliances, so that when you operate, you also reduce your compliance costs. Imagine, umetengeneza imefika 10,000, alafu yote inaenda kwa fine, because you didn't have this paper here, this license here. So the entire week or month has been taken up.
Hold that thought there. Najua watu wengi wenye wamekimbizana na kanjo, they understand this. We'll take a short break. When we come back, I will be discussing more on this. Remember that number to call in live, 0795 045 864. 0795 045 864. Call in live after this particular short break. Weka credo sahi as we take this short break. Then you call in and tell us your thoughts on matters, brainstorming business ideas. How do you even start business ideas? Tukirudi also, diving into the large population yenye wengi wako online. How do you really tap into online? Tap TikTok pale, YouTube. How do you even start a YouTube channel with as low as 1,000 bob? Stick around. Matters business. In case you're just joining us, brainstorming business ideas, the kind of business that you could actually start. And I was also asking you, in your opinion, what do you think is the secret to the perfect side hustle? I'll be getting the sentiments from my panelists this morning. Kujua, they're very tail end. But then, so earlier on, discussing matters, legal. Marubu unaweza rudi kwa whiteboard yetu tuendelee na business 101. Also remember, you can call in live 0795-045-864. So this also ties to the earlier caller who asked matters risk factors. I think I'll go to Richard kutoka Kiambu. Yes. Really forms, and it is only, meja yenyewe mtu atauliza, fine, nimeanza na 5K. And nimeuza hizi pens. Niko pale, Kimathi Street, nimeshika 2020 customer 2020. Sina hizi permits, sina hizo vitu zote. Then that will mean that itabidi nitafute like a whole, let's say 5,000 or more to look for a legal permit such that nisisumbuliwe tena. Walk us through all that.
So that is the, that's the dilemma you find yourself in, because you have two options. That is full compliance, which is costly, or failure or non-compliance,
which might even be more costly.
Which is normally the fines and penalties are normally more costly than the original compliance costs. So this is the entrepreneur's dilemma. This is where you find yourself. You have limited resources. You need to start this business. You need to scale. You need to grow. And as you grow, maybe as you start, you may not come across challenges. But as you grow, as you steadily, gather more momentum, more business, the public will take note of you. Even the council askari will now take notice of you, and they'll come knocking. So it is important to put that in place so that it does not come as a shocker. Unajua that you need this, and you need to factor it in as part of your capital requirement. So that ukisema, I need to start such and such a business, you are not looking only at the tools of trade and the materials that you need at the first instance, but unahitaji pia look at all the costs associated with the registration of your business.
Right. I'm taking a look at the comments on Facebook. In your opinion, what do you think is the secret to a successful side hustle? Kibet Robert says, passion and determination. Ronald Muema Sami, understanding the dimensions of the side hustle and focusing on its success. Ziko nyingi leo. Sultan Chris Inanga, resilience, hard work. Trust the process, focus, determination and hard work. Moja ya mwisho hapa tukiendelea, Dave Butet says, mnataka Zakayo to tax kwa kusema siri. Laughing emojis there. So I wanted now to focus on the social media.
Yes.
And how to even tap into that, depending on capital yenye mtu akunayo. Either kani 1,000, either kama ni 5K, or even 10K, depending. You can even start hypothetically with, let's say, the 5K that we had. Diving into different needs of social media, either as a side hustle, or even just the whole business. I'll start with you, Gega Tukianzanai. Social media 5K, how do you dive into this?
So, social media is one compelling competitive advantage that is there, that is affordable to us in this day and age, where you are able to tap into markets that are not physically around where you stay, around where you are. So the beauty about social media is that you can do what we call trading, where you are like the middleman. What social media helps us is to reduce the cost of capital upfront.
Okay.
Where you can actually go and partner with a shop that sells goods, where you can actually become one of their sales channels.
Yes.
Where you promote their products, and as you get customers, you fulfill those demands.
Right.
Those demands.
Right.
So in essence, you don't buy the goods upfront. You don't even need the goods on credit. You just connect the owner of the goods and the intended customer.
Right.
So that is...
Okay. Hold that thought there. Utaka tuende Mombasa Road all the way hadi Syokimau where Gladys is watching us. Gladys, habari asubuhi. Tell us, maoni yako ni yepi kuhusiana na hii conversation yetu ya leo? Hello, Gladys. Nikawa tumepoteza Gladys. Gladys, jaribu tena kutupigia utuambie, probably if it is a burning question for the panelist, utuambie what your question is ama mchango wako ni upi. You can,
Yes, that was one example. The other idea is what you can use is actually content, where you have a passion, where you have a skill that you are passionate about and you are skilled in, and most people are not aware of it. You can start a channel, maybe on YouTube, where you train people, be it in cooking or baking or, playing musical instruments. And you can actually develop an online class or an online school where you train these people. So as you develop this, you are using the social media as a platform to market your trade, your services.
Right.
And as you use this channel, it can grow where you get advertisers, but you can also sell your services where people pay a premium for you to do their training. Without you physically going to a location where you are hiring a place to start doing the trainings, but you can actually do it from the comfort of your home. Right.
So now, because we had taken a look at the 5K hypothetical of kupika chapo na mandazi and all that, I want us to also dive into this, the whole social media. For example, kama ni YouTube, just any, as you mentioned, even an online class.
Yes.
Let's take a look at how the 5K can actually, how you can divide your 5,000 and how you can actually utilize each coin from the 5K. At the end of the day, you could your profits.
Okay. So for example, you can, using WhatsApp business, we're using 5,000. Hypothetical example.
So hapa ndio pale we factor in if you're going to be using Wi-Fi, unanunua bundles kila siku, somewhat like that.
Okay. So now, with 5,000, you wake up very early in the morning, maybe you go to Gikomba and you buy camera clothing. And that's one. Number two, let me list them first. You'll need a camera for the photos. And then number three, you'll need boosting or advertising. I think, so we can split this 5,000 and say maybe with 5,000 can give us maybe with 3,000.
Kubai nguo.
Nguo, like 10. Then you have a camera person who comes to take photos, very high quality, maybe simu haiwezi ishika vizuri. We put another maybe 1,000.
So this is for hiring someone to... Okay.
Yeah, you are going to a place, maybe he has a studio, very nice lights like here, so that you are doing marketing. You want them to look and appear like the price that you want to place them.
And be as appealing as possible.
Exactly. So maybe 1,000. And then now come to WhatsApp or Facebook. You have WhatsApp, I think now it's about 161 shillings per day. Facebook maybe it's a bit higher. So let's argue maybe 200. Okay? So this the first two gives us 4,000. This is around 361.
61, yes.
Yeah.
Give or take 360, for example.
360.
Okay.
So like 4,360.
Uh-huh.
So at 3,000 for 10 clothes, we've done like an average of 300 per cloth. So if you can manage to sell maybe one at between 700 to 900, because you need to also cover your cost of transport and time. So 900 times 10, you have like 9,000.
9,000, uh-huh.
Then remove 4,360, maybe add another 640 for your transport.
640, umeenda hadi Rongai uka...
So that will give you a round figure of 5,000. So let's say that's 4,000 in profit.
Okay, so tuko na 4K. I'm being told you have Doris from Waithaka. Doris, habari asubuhi, and asante sana for calling us. Swali yako maybe ni gani kwa panelist, maybe ama mchango yako? Doris, habari asubuhi. Maybe swali yako ni gani kwetu? Doris, tupigie tena bana, utuambie, na pia yule wasio Kimau. Call us, by the way, phone numbers 0795 just get that right. Pia iko hapo chini kwa screen zako. 0795045864. Call in live and probably ask those questions that are really burning when it comes to matters business ideas, and also what are your thoughts when it comes to having that particular right business ideas and diversifying them. Ogega.
So again,
tumepata
4,000.
So this is our profit.
Yes. So now what is going to be very important, as Daktari said last time, is this 10. Your early adopters, those people ambao umeuzia, ambao wamekujua you do this trade, these 10 customers, how you close them and sold to them, how you treated them, and then you ask them to come back again and give you referrals, so that the next time you are going to post, there are also those who came and they missed. Nilikuwa nataka hii shati, imeshaenda. So don't just say, I'm sorry, imeisha. Take their contact, because huyu ni potential client who did not get served by you.
Yes.
So he may not have given us anything during this sale, but we need him for the next cycle. So as you get to the next round 2, uko Gikomba, awa uliwauzia, and these ones who they didn't get the opportunity to buy from you, tell them now we have a new stock. And this is what the big shops always do. We have a new release. So you keep marketing through the social media, because these are people who you ordinarily hauko unawajua. They may not even be in your contact list. But social media has given you a platform of reaching non-organic markets. People that are not known to you on a first-name basis. And so you are...
Rogan from Bungoma, even as you kuja hapo. Rogan kutoka Bungoma, asante sana for calling us. Habari asubuhi, maoni yako ni yepi? Robert kutoka Bungoma, habari asubuhi, maoni yako ni yepi? Robert, unaweza mute TV utuongeleshe, utuambie maoni yako ni yepi, maybe swali yako kuhusiana na when it comes to business ideas. Robert, tutajaribu tena kutupigia. Remember, you can always call in live 0795045864 and you throw in those particular questions, having the right minds for e-conversation. So tuko kwa social media, because largely unapatanga this is the largest, either mtu anauza magari, whichever kind of commodity they're selling, really going to starting a business using social media. and the whole online presence. How do you really navigate this?
My colleague has done a good job because he has actually told us what we were actually talking with zile vitu zingine.
Yes.
You see, one of the things that people need to understand about social media is a value delivery system. Value delivery system. So we go back to the value or the benefit. You see, this is the value. Hiyo ndio benefit yenye watu wanatafuta. So social media is just an intermediary ya kuwezesha kufikia hawa watu wenye 10 wenye ameongea kuhusu. So unless people understand that, they'll never make money in social media.
Where do you think people go wrong? Because I mean, a lot of people would do this. Mtu kwa status amejaza to dot, ni nguo anauza, you know, or maybe kama ni, you know, viatu nini, whichever. Ama unapata amekuweka kwa WhatsApp group, you know, rather a whole WhatsApp group that, you know, sells this. But at the end of the day, they don't really feel like sipati profit as much. Na watu wanaona products zangu. Where do you think people go wrong when it comes to social media, you know, marketing and all that?
I think it is what we talked about, the customer you are targeting, the people you are targeting, that is the biggest challenge. Ukiangalia kama saa hii, hizi nguo za kamera, hizi zenye ameongea kuhusu, ukizipeleka Facebook, huko ni wazee kama mimi wako huko saa hii. And actually the demographic has shown that.
Yes.
Kwa hivyo, kama wewe umezipeleka nini Facebook, mimi nitakuwa nikiangalia hivi nafanya nini? Mimi napita. But if you take them to
Instagram,
TikTok ama Instagram, you'll actually get 1 or 2 people getting interested with that because that media, the value delivery system that you actually chosen relate to what you are selling. Unaona kama magari. Ukiangalia most of the watu wenye wanauza magari, na baadhi hawaanzagi na anything wakiwao, especially the brokers, they have none. Lakini bado wanauza gari ya milioni moja wakitumia social media. Ukiangalia sana, look at where they are domiciled. Most of them are in Facebook. Why? Huko tukunakuta watu kama mimi, bado sisi tuko huko. Ni very few of them utapata, okay, wanafanya huko TikTok and all those things, but they are not very big in that. But in Facebook, you'll get very big groups of people who are selling cars. Why? Because the clientele that they are looking for can only be found there. So that is one thing that people need to understand. Social media is not just about selling. You need actually to think about the platform where you are going to sell and who you actually targeting to sell. Mwenzagu ameenda WhatsApp. And there's a reason as why ameenda WhatsApp ulipomuuliza hiyo swali. Kwa sababu ukikuja YouTube, you have to wait for you to make money. You know some of these things, even the social media, you still go back to where you are, tukianza. Skill. Problem. Na people in target markets. Or you go to YouTube and all these other places. Because kama mimi, nikisema nitaanza chano ya magari, lazima niende shule kwa ya mechanic, lazima niende shule kwanza nijue kuhusu magari. Unashika. Lakini nikisema nitaanza chano ya biashara, it will be very easy for me because this is something that I've actually been doing entrepreneurship. Lakini hiyo haitapata watu, nisitaanza kutengeneza pesa sahi. That is why you see, amekwambia kama unataka pesa ya haraka, identify what people are willing to pay for as quickly as possible. Na akasema uende kwa boka tafute nguo za kamera huko.
So how now do you message and, you know, put it in messages of what you're selling? For example, ni pale Facebook, how do you creatively, you know, eka, because sasa utapata mtu ataweka tu, let's say picha tu hapo, as maybe aeke tu, let's say the configurations of that, let's say the vehicles ama kama ni nguo. How do you creatively attract someone's eyeballs to whatever you're selling online?
We've said that people don't buy products, people buy value or benefit. Sasa ni benefit gani unataka watu wapate kutoka kwa hizo nguo zenye unaongea kuhusu? Na second, even whatever he has talked about, hii mataa na nini, outlook. Mimi nakuweka YouTube na najua the reason as why I'm not doing well ni kwa sababu picha za video zangu si nzuri. My videos are not, you know, The quality. Watu wanakuwa very funny. There are people who are looking for quality. There are people who are looking for information. Yeah. The majority of the people just do away with your product because of the quality. So ile video ama kanini ka photo lazima kakue kazuri sana. Siku hizi tuko na AI. So the chat GTP yabie ikuexplainie, ikuandikia very good context ya nini yako kaguo kenye unataka kuuza.
Hold that thought, ndaka tuende Bungoma. Robert, asante sana for calling once more. Tuambie swali yako ni gani?
Members wenye wamejaribu kuelimisha business. Mimi nasema hivi kwa sababu ya security purposes ya business ya mtu. Nimependa sana yeye nenda ameongelea mambo na compliance certificate. Ya kwamba kuna mwenye aliuliza ya kwamba kanjo wanasumbua. Wasumbui. Mimi nimepita nikuwa one of the safety officers kwa maduka.
Okay.
Yes, na unakutana na client mmoja amefanya amefanya photocopy ya permit. Kutujua kwamba kuna penalty kwa hiyo karatasi. Sasa unaweza pata hana ile legal document na ndio anzisha biashara lazima ukuwe na ile whatever document yenye serikali inahitaji. Mimi nasema hivi kwa clients wenye wanalalamika. Si vizuri mtu aanzishe biashara na hana chochote ambacho kinaonyesha serikali ya kwamba inafaa kuwe katika hiyo hali. So na challenge nyingine ni kwamba mnaongelea mambo na 5,000 ambayo inaweza fanya mtu aendelee mbele.
Okay.
Unaweza pata commodities ambazo zinauzwa same commodities. Okay. Na hiyo laini iko na same commodity. So ni bidii na what you call customer experience yenye amesema CE. Lazima ukuwe na hiyo yote. Ndio watu wakuje maybe wachukue document. Hiyo bidhaa zako. Challenge nyingine ni kwamba basic needs zimeshikana kabisa. Iko sawa tu pale juu. So ni bidii ya mwenye anataka hizo commodities ziende, labda akuwe na njia nyingine ya ku reduce, lakini sasa kwa sababu ya cost of living hatuwezi enda zaidi ya hiyo. So mimi naomba tu ya kwamba elimu ni nzuri. Watu wajue ya kwamba before business ianzishwe akuwe na legal business.
Na labda Robert nikuulize kama mtu wa kanjo pale Bungoma.
Yes.
Au mtu anataka kuanzisha biashara, wengi wanakujanga kuwauliza hii biashara legal document yake itakuwa ngapi? Mnapatanga maswali kama hayo?
Tunakutana na hayo maswali especially kule kwa revenue kwenyewe. Kuna wale wanakuja mpaka kwa ofisi. Na malizana na hao, na kuna document zenye zingine zinahitaji ofisi nyingine iko mbali. So tunawatuma. Na tukishawatuma kuna officers wenye watatembea kwa ground.
Okay.
Kuangalia those documents. Kuna wenye walipuuza, kuna mwingine ameomba, amefanya photocopy na ameficha. So tukienda zaidi hapo unaona mtu mwenyewe anajipata katika lakini wana comply, wengine wenye wanaelewa na comply. So tukisukuma sana unaona wanakusanyika wanataka wachape kanjo. Unaona hiyo ndio challenge. Lakini sisi huwa tunaenda na masharti zetu.
Asante sana Robert kutoka Bungoma. Salimia watu wa Bungoma kabisa. So even because I really know our time is short, even answering from what they're talking about matters, risk factors, your last thoughts when it comes to the kind of, and also the question of the day, do you think there's a secret when it comes to having a successful side hustle? And I'm going to sample a few of your feedback. Keep talking to us.
So as I finish, I was saying that there are some channels in social media. One, you need to be very consistent. Ukianza kuweka YouTube videos unaendelea kuziweka, because that is the only way you are going to grow to a point where you can be able to monetize your channel. And commitment. Those are some of the things that you need, especially in YouTube, and also a skill.
Right.
Now, for a successful business, mimi nimesema biashara ni customer. If you actually know the problem and you actually listen to the customer, you are going to succeed in the business, because the business is not grown by the owner of the business. It is the customer who gives you the feedback of what they are looking for. In fact, times zingine hata unaanza wanakuuliza nini umetuletea. Sisi tulikuwa tunataka hii. And that is feedback. You should usikasirike. That is feedback they are going. Yes, that is feedback they are giving to you. And please look at that feedback and try to go to what they are looking for, not what you think that they are looking for.
Right.
Yes.
Even as we finalize, tumemalizana na ubao, so even your final thoughts when it comes to even the advice for someone who, they really want to start a business. Robert anasema saa zingine tunabule mkanjo bure. Hii maneno wewe ndio kufanya the due diligence ya kujua nikianzisha biashara ya smokia mama yai, I lead ile legal certificate ya health hizo zote. Maybe hata mtu wako anajua. Your advice to them?
My advice to them is that as you start a business, sit down and count the cost. What will it take to run this business? Know all the requirements. There are many ways to know. Kuna ofisi ya Kanjo. There are people who are already running such a business. Learn from them, so that as much as possible, get into business with all full information on the table. And as I give my closing remark, there was, I think, Richard from Kiambu, who was asking about the risk factors of using leverage.
Yes.
It's true. There is a risk. For example, in technology, I have a friend of mine who does, building, interior design, and construction. And his account, he puts on photos of the beautiful jobs that he has done. So there's another person who actually took all his photos and put in his account. So like plagiarism of some sort. So, and he will use your photos to market and get business as though business that should have come to you.
Yes.
So you're one of the risk factors. In terms of labor, you are using other people's time and labor in your business. They can do backward integration. Waende na hiyo biashara. They can start a competitive business right on your doorstep.
Yes.
And they go with most of the customers. So those are risks that you have to be alive to. And as I conclude is that there is no real secret to a successful business. As Nike says, just do it. You will learn along the way. And the more activity you do, the more feedback you get from your customers, the better you become exposed and prepared to serve the market even better and deliver more value and be rewarded by the same market.
Right. I've learned a lot right here. And a final one, the director Kivota and I'm really out of time and we need to take a short break. 30 seconds each. Can you say kuna watu that never meant for business? Wachane tunayo. Your thoughts?
As I began, it's a lifestyle. Are you prepared for that lifestyle? Are you prepared for that demanding lifestyle? It's a question that you answer for yourself.
Daktari, unadhani kuna watu bedhe biashara na wao hawawezani nayo?
Hapana, ni watu hawajui kuangalia opportunities zenye ziko around them. Hakuna mtu hawezi fanya biashara kwa sababu as long as you identify what people are looking for, you can do many things. Yes, so watu wasijiambie ati kuna mtu hawezi anza kitu.
Asanteni sana Dr. David Kabata, an entrepreneur coach, as well as Marobe Ogega.